Stephen, thank you very much for joining us today to share your time and insights as part of our It's Good to Talk with Clients campaign. If you wouldn't mind, Stephen, there'll be lots of people watching this who know you already, but it'll always great to get a fresh version. And for those who don't know you, if you could just give a very brief introduction about yourself.
Yes, certainly. Hi, David. So I'm Stephen. I'm the founder and the MD of Valued. We are based up in the northeast of England, accountants based in the northeast of England, but we've got clients throughout the UK. Got around about 800 clients that we look after now. But we have, I don't know how much detail you want really. There's 20 of us in the team. We're all working remotely right now, trying to help and support clients as much as we can through this pandemic.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, Stephen. And that segues really neatly into my first question. So you mentioned the pandemic there. I've spoken to lots of accountants over the past few months, and one thing that's pretty clear is that a lot of them are talking to their clients over the phone or video call a lot more now due to the pandemic. I guess that isn't anything new for you and Valued. You mentioned your 800 clients, and I know you have them all over the country, right? Has the pandemic changed the way you and your team talk with clients at all?
Oh yes, without a shadow of a doubt. I think anybody that says it hasn't changed is lying to themselves. The degree of how it's changed is not as much as what it could have been, but I think what we've done is we try to help, we try to get there and offer advice that's time sensitive to clients. So we want to make sure that we're actually able to communicate to clients effectively. And now, how do we actually communicate with them? In an ideal world, we'd love to pick up the phone and talk to every single client about every single update that happens. But when you've got a team of 20 and there's 800 clients, it's very difficult to actually make all of those calls in a very short period of time. So what we do is we've set up various social media channels. So we set up the Valued Facebook community. It's a great way of us actually getting our message out to our clients very quickly. So as soon as the Chancellor stood up and said, we've got this new thing, it's called a furlough scheme, we did a live, we actually communicated that to clients there. We did that through email marketing, we did it through various social media campaigns. But what we also did is we went to the team and we said, right, who is the biggest degree of risk? So hospitality sector, and let's pick up the phone and let's talk to them. So the ones that were at real risk of business failure, for lots of different reasons, we picked up the phone and we spoke to those clients. It felt like pretty much most of back end of March, April, May, June into July, I spent on the phone to clients, actually just trying to help them, trying to guide them through their options, what they had as possibilities to get through the pandemic. So how we communicate with clients has changed. We're using social media a lot more. We are using our email campaigns a lot more, but we've also had to up our game quite significantly in those areas to make it relevant to clients instead of just sending out generic mass messages that we can send to every client. We want to make sure that actually the limited companies get stuff that's relevant to them, the sole traders, the partnerships get stuff that's relevant to them, even down to the type of industries that clients are working in. We need to make sure that we can help them. You've then got Zoom, and Google Meet and various other tools there. Those just became a massive part of how we work on a daily basis with clients. We didn't used to use it half as much. I sit in my home office most days here and just talk to a screen. I never used to do that. I used to actually get in front of a client and go down to London, meet up with clients. I've not been in London since March last year. I don't know when the next time I will do that again, but has that changed? Yes, significantly, because now we've all had to get used to using the various video platforms as well as the telephone. But also it's about, I think people are starting to get really tired of using online technologies, things like Zoom. So I think people are getting fatigued with that. So it's about actually thinking about different ways of doing it. So one of the things that we've started to do is socially distance walking with clients. So we actually will go out, we'll have a meeting with a client and we'll do it as we're walking, a bit of a coach and walk session. was the name that was suggested. So that's what we've started to do with clients as well. Obviously, new national lockdown, you can't do that in different areas. If they're very local to me, we can do that. But if it's out of the area, we can't do that. But that's something that I do envisage just changing in the longer term as well, or keeping for the longer term, rather than just actually saying, right, when the pandemic's sorted, we've all had the magic injection, we can all get back to our normal lives. I do envisage the way that we hold meetings and communicate with clients is changed for good now.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Stephen. There's a real bevy of insights there, and I'm sure your clients will have hugely appreciated this, the punctual, the relevant and the informative ways that you've engaged with them, and socially distanced walking meetings. You heard it here first. I mean, going back before the pandemic and the time that you've been in the industry, do you think the conversations you have with clients have changed a lot in that time?
Before the pandemic, yes, without a shadow of doubt. I think the services that clients want, if I go back to when I said valued up, which is 10 years ago now, it doesn't seem that long, but it is. It's our 10-year anniversary now. If I go back to what clients wanted 10 years ago, they wanted to be compliant, they wanted the profit and loss, they wanted the balance sheet. I'm not kidding. Actually, they wanted to know how much money they could take out of the business, what the tax bill was, and maybe it's a little bit of advisory, a little bit of business consultancy, we called it at the time. Now what do clients want? Clients now want real advisory services. They want somebody that understands their industry. They want somebody that understands the pain of being a business owner. They want somebody that can be there as a true partner in their business, I guess. Somebody that's there to help them through any problems, but also somebody that's there to help them to share their successes. We have a client called Jeff Ram, who is an author. He's a keynote speaker. He stands up on many a stage. He actually has wrote a book during the pandemic, during the lockdown, all about celebrity service. And one of the things that he actually has wrote about in the book is valued. It's about us.
Oh, wow.
And what he's actually done is he uses us as an example of celebrity service, somebody that's gone above and beyond. Now, the actual bit that he's wrote in the book is, I'm paraphrasing, but it's something along the lines of, you wrote an email to him and Haley, his wife, saying you should be very proud of what you've done. I didn't think that was anything substantial. I didn't think that was a game-changing email. But actually, it was something really different to him. So he stood up in various conferences and said, do you get an email from your accountant? You should be proud of what you've done. Do you get an email that actually talks about the long-term plan of your business? It's something so basic, but clients want some of that basic stuff. Clients want that help. They want that reassurance. They want that support. What do we do as a profession? We go and we sometimes give them the information from a tax point of view or from an accounting point of view. Actually, clients come to us, or a lot of clients come to us, especially in the smaller businesses, for help, for reassurance, to be compliant. If we can actually help them to get more from their business, that's a real game changer for me. Something as basic as saying you should be proud of that. When was the last time that us as a business owner, someone turned around and said, you know what, you've done well, congratulations? We don't do that. Yeah, I never did that with you over the years that I've known you, David. You've never done that to me. Yeah, we struggle on and we think that we're doing all right, but actually sometimes it's nice to have that pat on the back. And I think that what we've gone from is a relationship where we used to just be an accountant to a client, to actually now we're becoming a friend to the business, an advisor to the business. And we have to be able to morph into having relationships with the clients. What do I mean by that? You're there to help and support that client to get whatever they want to be. We've all got the books behind us, the business books, the goals and all this sort of stuff. But a lot of these business books say that we all should be multimillionaires and we should all employ hundreds of people. Actually, some clients say, you know what, I just want more time with the family. I just want, when the pandemic hit, enough money to make sure that I could pay my mortgage for a couple of months. What we as a profession have is a duty of care, in my opinion, to actually take the time to have a real meaningful conversation with that client and say, what is it that you're trying to achieve? What is it that you want? How can we help you do what you want within your business? Instead of us as a profession turning around and saying, look, we've got this new shiny bit of software. It's going to transform your life. It might not transform every client. Let's take the time to understand what each client wants, have that conversation with the client now, and actually give them what they need, help them in their journey.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Stephen, and yeah, the sort of the advancement into the kind of the personal side when it comes to conversation. I don't mean by personal tax and submitting personal tax returns. I mean, looking at businesses as transparent, effectively, right? In that they are, yes, they're legal entities, but at the end of the day, they are manifestations of the people underneath them, and you can't properly deliver advice and support to those businesses unless you understand the people behind them. So it sounds like over the years that you've seen it, and you link it to the kind of services and what clients want, and it just going from this sort of commoditized compliance and ensuring that I'm within the parameters of that to I want a true trusted business advisor. But you can't do that until that relationship is truly personal.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I do think just before we press record on this, David, we were talking about the families. Yeah, we were talking about our respective wives and our children. That's the level I'm talking about with the client, where you actually know about the family of the business owners. You know what's important to them. That's the level we should be at. Yeah,
amazing. And again, that segues really nicely into the next question I wanted to ask. Why do you think lots of accountants struggle to have those types of conversations and build those types of relationships with their clients?
I think the main thing for me is that I always remember many, many years ago, there's a gentleman called Gordon Gilchrist from 2020 Group, and I did this future partner course with him. I can't remember when it was probably 15 years ago, something like that. And he used the analogy of, as a profession, what do we do with our trainees? We put them in a darkened room, we give them a set of accounts to do, and then they get the manager status because they just rise up through the ranks. And eventually you suddenly turn around and go, there's some business cards. Now get out there and sell. And you kind of go, hang on a minute. I've had no training, no support on being able to deal with clients. The training and support I've had is how to prepare a set of accounts. I don't own a business. So therefore, I've got no experience in dealing with business owners. And I think that's the biggest struggle that we've got is at university, at professional qualifications. What do? We teach how to do accounts. We don't teach how to talk to clients. We don't teach what to do when a client's really struggling. We don't teach what to do when a client's really successful. All we do is we teach the tax element and the accounting element. We don't teach the human side of that. Yeah. And that's why I think we get lost, because actually, unless you've got somebody within the profession that has a commercial edge as well as that technical ability, but they have that commercial edge that actually says, hang on a minute, why is the business like this? What can we do differently within your business? Somebody that can actually not feel frightened to turn around to a client and challenge them in their business and think, David, why do you do it like that? Well, actually, I don't need to do it like that. Well, I've done like this for 30 years, so why should I do it any different? You've got to have that ability to be able to talk to a client, to be able to challenge them, to be able to praise them. And I think that's why we struggle, because we don't educate early enough within the accounting training. We don't educate within our firms as much as what we should have done. And we could do. We get a lot better at it now, but we don't allow our trainees to get in front of clients. We don't allow our semi-seniors to get in front of clients. Yeah, we've got a guy that works at Value now. He joined us in April 2020, and he's joined us as one of our managers. Yeah, as one of our client managers, a senior client manager. In his old firm, before he could actually send an email to a client, he had to run it past the partner. Yeah, this guy was one exam off being fully qualified ICEW, and he couldn't send an email to a client without it going past a partner. The firm's been developed for the last 100 years, I think it was. It's a long time firm. You go, this is crazy. Why would you do that? Yeah, that's alien to me. It's not alien to that firm. They've got their reasons why they do that. But if we've still got firms like that don't encourage our team to interact with clients, that's why we've created this problem of accountants, in my opinion, not being able to speak to their clients.
Really interesting. Really interesting. So a lot of focus on the hard skills, not so much on the soft skills, and as a result, it sinks to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, no, I think that has changed. Yeah, during the last 12 months, I've interviewed probably 25 people, I think, on various online platforms. I've done that, and it was really, really interesting that a lot of people are leaving their current firms where they were because they couldn't interact with clients. They wanted to help and support clients. They wanted to do more to help the clients. But as a profession, we put obstacles in their way. We didn't have a telephone answering system where they could ring directly. They didn't have a mobile phone that they could ring clients on. Some of the bigger firms, you had to go through a central office, and then the central office would then send an email to the team member. They felt like it was all barriers put in their way. Yeah, and again, this is alien to me. I want to help clients. I can't do it all. Let the team help them as well. Let the team have the conversations with clients as well. And that's really, really, it's helpful for me as a business owner, as a managing partner in this firm. It's really, really helpful for me to be able to do that. But the younger generation want to help. Some of the older generation, my generation, I'm 45, haven't been given that ability to do that. So we're then stuck in this self-limiting belief of I can't have that conversation with a client because it's always a partner that has to do that.
Really interesting. And you've talked a bit about what you do internally, and anything else you do to help your team members be able to have those conversations? Yeah.
One of the earliest things we do is when somebody joins us within Valued on their first day, generally, normally the first morning, they spend the morning with me. At that point, I then talk them through what it's like to be part of Valued. Right? I've been part of the interview because I sign every employee off, but I want to make sure that when they join us, we've got a great team, but they've got to understand what it's like to be part of Valued. So what do? I talk through the culture of Valued, if you can talk through it, but I talk through what it's like, why I set Valued up. I actually do a little bit of a presentation, which is all photograph based, around the different stages of Valued and what we've done. We also show a video that we've got of a client, and this client talks for 10 minutes about what it's like to be a client of Valued. He talks about the culture of Valued. He talks about what he expects. He talks about the empowerment of the team and everything else there. So it's not just on their first day they're hearing it from me, they're hearing it from a client straight away. Normally within the first week, we've got them involved in a client meeting. Normally. Right? What do we actually mean by that? We mean that if they've prepared a set of accounts on their first week, possibly the second week, depending on timescales and things like that, what we do is we get them involved in that client meeting. So whether that's in person or it's on Zoom or whatever the tool is that you're using, we've actually got them in front of that client and they can see the effect that we're having with that client. It could be that actually they haven't prepared a set of accounts. So what we'll do is we'll bring them into one of my meetings and we'll say to the client, look, it's a friendly client. We'll turn around to them and say, look, Billy's just joined the firm. We're just bringing them in just so that they can see what it's like to be in a client meeting. All of a sudden, the new team members going, wow, I've never had the ability to go into a client meeting. Well, actually, from week one, you know what the end product is. Yeah. You know what we're trying to achieve here. You know the pitfalls, the problems I might have in a meeting. You know the successes that we're going to have with clients. The other thing that we do as well, and it was something that Ian Harland, when I very first started my career, Ian Harland was brilliant at. Yeah, my old mentor, my old business partner, he was absolutely fantastic at it. He would make sure that I had the good bullets to fire in a meeting. So if there was some really good advice, some really good tax saving, some really good news, he made sure that I was the person to deliver it, not him. What it actually did, and I never realised it at the time, but what it did, what it does is it encourages the conversation with the team member as opposed to the partner, because the team member has now gone from there to there. They've gone to an elevated position because the client's suddenly thinking, hang on a minute, they know what they're talking about. They're helping me. They're on my side. It's not just Stephen that's on my side. Now, obviously, you need to make sure that they've got the skills to be able to deliver that news, and they've got the skills to be able to back it up. But with a bit of training, a bit of support, and a bit of help, and a bit of guidance, you can do that. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that every team member gets to the opportunity to get themselves to whatever level within valued they want them to be. They want to be within themselves. Yeah, it's really, really important to us to do that. But to do that, we need to make sure that they know they can have a direct effect on the client. They can have a conversation with the client from day one about anything they want. They can ring a client and say, look, is it all right? Obviously not in this socially distanced world we're in right now. Is it all right if I jump in the car and come and see you and buy you a cup of coffee? Is it all right if I jump on a train and come and see you in London? We're based in Newcastle or just outside of Newcastle. Is it all right if we just go for a walk and tell me about your business? We really want to encourage team members to do that. We don't just want it to be words on a CRM database. We want to, when we take on a new client, we ring them, we introduce the team member. We do that as part of the onboarding calls because we want to make sure that we've got no barriers whatsoever between that team member and that client.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that idea of, rise as high as they want to go within valued, and also the kind of arm them with a conversational ace up their sleeve when they go into their first one. That's a great tip. Just finally, Stephen, can you remember a particularly kind of impactful client conversation that you've had recently?
There's so many lately, to be honest, since March the 20th or whatever it was last year, David. I think one of I'm just trying to think of a particular impactful one. There's so many, to be perfectly honest. There is so many. I think possibly one of the impactful conversations that I had with a client was telling me that their business had to close. They were going to lose their house, telling me that they were selling all of their worldly goods just to actually pay off some debt that they had within the business. They couldn't see a way out of it. What I did, what a team member did, was we sat there and we worked through their profit and loss, we worked through their balance sheet, we worked through their cash flow with them. And the client is a retailer, so they couldn't open their doors. It's not in an essential retail outlet right now, so therefore they've been shut for a big period of time. Their business normally gets busy January to March. They're thinking they're in lockdown now for the next 3 months, or 4 months in total with December. So they're thinking, I've got no money coming in. I need to close my business. I need to sell my worldly goods, even to the point of they were going to sell their house just to try and pay off some debt that they had personal guarantees on. What we did was we helped them to come up with payment plans with the creditors that they had in place. We said to them that actually, you know what, you can borrow as much money as you want. We can help you to do that, but that's not a quick fix. The quick fix is let's go off to your suppliers and say to the suppliers, look, this is the position I'm in, let's be honest. You can have your stock back now, but I prefer to pay you every week. Is that all right? And what they've done is they've gone from a position where they were going to sell the house to actually every single supplier without exception said, yes, we'll accept a payment plan. Right. Now, they've all accepted a payment plan because they know they're going to get something. Most businesses are just going under, and because they're going under, in this sector, because they're going under, they're never going to get paid the suppliers. At least this client's gone to them and said, look, we can help you, we can support you, we can, with your help and your support, get through this together. One of the suppliers, which is actually the biggest supplier, said, not a problem. What we'll do is, when we can reopen, we'll send you a load of consignment stock. So the shop is full. We'll help you to grow your business. We'll help you to develop it, because we want to make sure that you can actually help us to grow our business together. One of the biggest things that we've got is, there's a saying out there, perfect storm, we're all in the same storm. We're all in the same boat, sorry, right now. I don't believe we are all in the same boat. I think we're all in our individual boats within this perfect storm. I think what we've got to do, I alluded to it before, we've got to talk to our clients, find out what their specific personal circumstances are, and help them to row their boat to safety. Help them by shining a little bit of light. Help them to get to where they need to be. And sometimes it's just about talking to the clients. It's just about being there for them. What I didn't actually say with this client was, for the last 2 years, they've paid another firm to do bookkeeping, management accounts, VAT returns, budget, and everything else. They actually brought an FD into the business. All of that is gone by the wayside as of March last year. This client now, he turned around to me last week and said, this is the best accounts meeting I've ever had. I've got a plan. I know what I'm doing, but I also have all my data right within Xero. There's no problems. Everything's right. And I'm now making decisions on my business based on fact as opposed to guesstimate, because the previous accountant, the previous bookkeeping, and the FD wasn't even preparing management accounts. I'm not sure how you can have an FD that doesn't prepare management accounts, but he did. Yeah, the previous accountant, the previous bookkeeper, the system was all over the place. So he could never actually get right full information that he needed to run the business. So he's going out spending money left, right, and centre, but actually didn't have the information that he needed. But that's probably the biggest impactful conversation that I've had recently with a client. But sometimes it is just basic stuff. It's just about turning around to a client and saying, you have options. During the pandemic, you don't just have to close your business down. You do have options. You can pivot. You can move into a different area. You can actually, we were talking on a networking call a week ago, and this client turned around to another accountant and actually said, right, well, what's happening with my business? I'm really worried. I'm really scared. And it actually transpires that the client has 18 months worth of running costs in the bank account, but they're really worried and they're really scared that the business is going to go bust. If you don't sell anything for the next 18 months, you've still got enough money. Everything's fine. Yeah. But business owners sometimes don't realize that. Business owners just see the bank balance starting to go down every month. Yeah. People like yourself that have been in tech businesses, people like me that have been connected with that, we talk about runway. We talk about how many months, years with the cash flow have we got until we need to go and get the next lot of finance to expand and grow the business, to go and develop and expand the business again. Business owners that have no money coming in right now don't always look to see what they have got. They just look at the bank balance decrease and thinking, it's all over. It's not. Talk to clients, give them the options, and that's the most impactful conversations that I've had with clients lately.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Stephen. And yeah, that sounds like an incredibly impactful conversation, and just the power of helping that client reframe things and see different options and where that's led. You know, in a sense, it was a conversation that spawned conversations between them and their suppliers that's enabled them to find the solution. And then it's really, it's really profound, isn't it, to think about it in the sense of that's a conversation you initiated, and off the back of that enabled them to reframe their options. That's a business that might very well no longer be in existence had you not reached out and had that conversation. They've got a great outcome now, and on top of that, you're now delivering the sort of the virtual finance function by the sound of it to them, and you've got a client who's saying, this is the best accounts meeting I've ever had. All of this, if we kind of run it all the way back, because you reached out and you understood and you listened well and you asked the right questions to have a great conversation.
Yeah. And I think that it's not just us, David, it's lots of accountants out there that are doing some amazing things with clients, some absolutely amazing things with clients. And I do genuinely believe that my profession, our profession, sometimes isn't valued as much as what it could be in terms of the support, the help, the guidance, the counselling even that we have given clients. But that all starts with communicating with clients. It all starts with being able to actually pick up the phone, have a conversation with clients, and be there to help and support them. There's other firms out there that haven't been able to do that. We've got to make sure that we help the profession to move in that direction. We've got to make sure that we're there to help clients, because I do genuinely believe that when this pandemic is over, when we all get the magic injection, whatever it is, that means we can get back to some sort of normal life. Some things that we have done in the last 12 months will be there for the long term. How we communicate with our clients will be there for the long term. The advice, the help, the support that we've given the clients will be remembered. The help and support and advice that has not been given to clients will be remembered. And those clients will leave accounts and they will go to firms that have communicated, that have helped, that have supported. And I do genuinely believe that as a profession, we've got a huge opportunity right now to change the relationship that we have with our clients, to help them to grow and to develop and to bring that human side of accountancy to the front.
Amazing. Well, if ever there were an embodiment of why it's good to talk with clients, I don't think you'd find a better one than that. So, Stephen, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. And the 800 clients of Valued are incredibly fortunate to have you and be working with you. So, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed that short interview. My name is Andrew Jordan. I am the CEO at Connect4. Please do book a demo. Click on book a demo and we will love to talk you through our platform and to show it in action. And yeah, great to have you with us.